Today I wanted to sit down and do something a little bit different, something I've not done for a really long time, and that's just sit down and have a chat to you. I'm sitting on the floor in my bedroom in my newly styled part of my room that I am so obsessed with. I don't know what it is about this little spot that is so cozy and cute, but I love it, and I thought I would sit down today and have a chat to you. I wanted to talk through morning routines, night routines, and mindset. I popped up a story on Instagram last week asking you what you would do if you had an extra hour each morning. I had lots of responses. There were some pretty cool creative ones like baking or journaling, reading, and fitness related things. And I also had a few responses of sleep, that if you had an extra hour in the morning, you would sleep. And there is nothing wrong with an extra hour of sleep per day. I love a good sleep in. It's just the mindset behind that being your first response to having an hour to do pretty much anything you want is a mindset that's probably holding you back from where you want to be. Mindset plays a really big role in allowing us to lead the life that we want to lead, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to shift your mindset, and I'm hoping that in today's video you will think a little bit differently and even be motivated to try some things that are a bit different. To everyone that responded to the question with sleep, my question back to you is, why don't you just go to bed an hour earlier so you can get that hour of sleep? And I know that a response back to that would be, yes, but I'm not tired at that time, which is entirely fair enough. There have been plenty of nights where I am never tired at 10 p.m. and I stay up until 1. It's pretty common. I wanted to share a few tips around shifting your sleeping routine, getting yourself more tired before bed, and essentially giving yourself that extra time to sleep if that's what you want to do. The first thing that we tend to do is we run ourselves right up until bedtime. This is usually in part to social media and digital things like your phone and your computer, because when you're on social media, you have so much information coming at you and your brain is trying to process all that information, so that by time you go to bed, your brain is running a million miles an hour and you put your phone down to go, okay, well, I'm gonna sleep now. No chance. There is absolutely no way you're gonna be sleeping if your mind has been trying to process that much information. I have been experimenting with this over the last couple of weeks, and I find that when I spend time doing slower and more boring things at nighttime and ditching the digital, I'm so much more tired by the time I am ready for bed. So I don't completely cut out my phone or my computer or the TV or anything like that, but I am definitely spending a lot less time on those devices. I think reading is really helpful. Also, the word search book that I do, and I know that I did say in my morning video the other week that in the morning I use my word search book to warm up my brain, but essentially at nighttime you're doing the opposite. You need to warm down and wind down. So the word search book, because it's slow, I can use that to wind down. The idea is that you're focusing on something and one thing rather than hundreds of things. So for 5 minutes, if you're reading a book, you are focusing solely on one thing. If you're on your phone and on Instagram for 5 minutes, you're potentially consuming hundreds of things, if not thousands, and that is a big difference for your brain to try and process that much information. You need to slow it down at nighttime and stop consuming so much stuff so that your brain is overworking. The next thing that you can do is wake up when your alarm goes off. Stop hitting snooze, and I know this is always a point in most morning routine related videos, but it is so true. You have to force yourself out of bed. You also have to avoid any naps during the afternoon or the evening, and you need to be exerting all your energy in the day so that by time nighttime rolls around, you are tired. If you're not using your energy to its absolute full potential during the day, then you're still gonna have that built up energy at nighttime. So this means being more active, doing as much as you can during the day to get it all out so that you are tired in the evening. And the next thing that I do is that usually around 8 p.m. is when I start to feel tired, and the second I feel tired, I feed into it. I'm not going to bed at 8 p.m., although I was thinking just before maybe I should start going to bed at 8 p.m. and then I can wake up at 4. But because I don't have to wake up at 4, I tend to not go to bed at 8. But that's when I get tired. The second I get tired though, that's when I know no more phone, no more digital. Like, let's be really slow. Let's wind it right down, feed into it, because if I don't, 2 hours later at 10 p.m., my mind is overworking again because I let it consume lots of information and I lost that tired feeling that I had. So the second I feel tired, I hold on to it and I roll with it so that I can really go to bed when I'm so exhausted. Those are 3 things that you can do to help shift your sleep schedule around. I think one of the biggest contributors to people not waking up early is the fact that they don't feel tired at nighttime, and that is something that you really have to change. All I can say is over the last 2 weeks, I feel amazing. I am so glad that I feed into being tired because I just feel so much more energetic and so much more happier overall each day when I allow myself to have that type of night routine. If you had an idea as a response to what you would do with an extra hour in the morning, then I think that's a really great mindset to be in. You're actually thinking about what you could do to utilize that hour to be more beneficial to all different areas of your life. It could be a well-being thing, it could be a fitness thing, it could be a career thing. But when you've already got an idea, you're definitely on the right track. I just want to push you over into actually giving yourself that hour so you can do the things that you want to do and implement that into your life. So the few tips that I talked about before, totally applicable to you if you're not after an extra hour of sleep per day, but an extra hour of fitness or an extra hour of baking. Then doing these sorts of things to your night routine are going to be so beneficial to your morning routine, and they might actually give you that extra hour. The reason that I got to asking this question on Instagram is because I actually did this last week. So my class for uni started at 9 a.m. and I woke up at 7 a.m. and I went to bed at about 10 p.m. So I was in bed at 10 p.m. I had fed into the fact that I was tired. I was spending so little time on social media. I was doing my word search. I did a little bit of reading. And at 10 past 10 that night, sometime around then, I fell asleep. And I had my alarm set for 7 a.m. When I woke up at 7, I was a little bit like, oh, I wish I could keep sleeping, but I was well rested enough because I'd had almost 9 hours of sleep to be able to just get up, turn off the alarm, and go and get on with my morning. So from 7 till 8 a.m., I did absolutely nothing. I got a coffee, I sat on the couch, I stared out the window, and I just pondered life. I went on Instagram a little bit, I posted that question, and I just sat there for a full hour. I could have done anything in that hour, but I just sat there and I slowly woke up, and it was amazing. I had the best start to the day, and I was so inspired to start implementing that more into every single day. So then at 8 o'clock, I got ready in about 25 minutes because all I needed to do was shower, chuck on some casual clothes. I didn't do my makeup that day, and I grabbed a couple things in my bag and I headed out the door. On a day, if I had to get a little bit more dressed up or I had a few more things to prepare, I could just start getting ready at 7:45 or 7:30, and that would still give me plenty of time to just sit around or do anything that I wanted to do. I caught the tram at about 8:30. I got to class just after 9. I was a little bit late. I probably should have pushed the time back a little bit. My teacher did change the time start to 9:15 though, so that was a little helpful, and technically I wasn't late then. And then I was able to just get on with the rest of my day. I know for a lot of people that's a pretty realistic change that you could implement into your life. I think a lot of people start their mornings, class, or work around 8, 9 a.m. I know there are a whole bunch of other people out there who work on totally different schedules. You might need to get up at 4 a.m. or you might be like my mom, or you wake up at 4 p.m. and start work at 10 p.m. There is different schedules for everyone, but the one thing that we all have equally as humans is time. We all share 24 hours in a day, and it is up to you what you choose to do with those 24 hours. So you might be on a totally different schedule and you work night shift. It's just about shifting your time slots around the clock and working with what you've got. And so I'm really hoping that you guys have found this video helpful and it's motivated you to try some new things, motivated you to get off social media and the digital at nighttime, because I just think it's honestly the worst thing that you could possibly be doing. So I'm sorry if you're watching this video at nighttime, but get off and go to bed. Seriously, wind yourself down. And I just hope you've enjoyed this little chat. If you have any other topics that you would like me to just have a talk about, or have any questions that you would like answered, please leave them in the comments down below. And up the top here, you can check out my last video. Down the bottom, I will leave a link to another of my videos, and I will see you in the next one.